All right, I've got a question here from Matt Horn. He wants to know, what is the durability difference between standard tartan fabric and tweed tartan fabric? Will the tweed get worn faster than standard fabric? I know that each mill's tartan and tweed fabric are different, but is there a general consensus on lifespan, assuming the fabric is taken care of similarly?
So, what's the difference between, or how hard wearing is tweed versus worsted wool for, a tartan kilt? I would start by saying tweed isn't just tweed. You can't just say tweed and go, oh yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. Tweed, there's an entire freaking spectrum. Everything from, 18 ounce, heavyweight, hard wearing, made from coarser, type of wool, meant for outerwear and that kind of thing, all the way down to very, very fine, very soft, wool, lightweight, made for suiting kind of fabrics and things like that. Almost like cashmere kind of feel to it. Like there's some very, very rough tweeds and some very, very soft, like really, really nice stuff. So it really depends on what you're looking at. So one is going to be, the harder wearing stuff is almost bulletproof. I mean, it's meant to be worn as outerwear in thicket, and get, burrs and all kind of things like ripping at it as you're walking through the brush. Whereas the tweed suiting fabric, obviously not. When it comes to tweed tartans, or even the tweeds that some of the tartan mills make, like Loch Heron and Martin Mills, I actually spoke to Martin Mills today in looking this one up before, because I wanted to have a little bit of knowledge going into it. For their tweed, they actually use woolen wool versus worsted wool. So the quick explanation on that is worsted wool is a different type of fiber, and it's done differently and twisted differently. It's a little bit tighter, and it's generally speaking, there's no real space inside of the twisted fibers. It's really, really tight. Woolen wool, the way that it's done, there's actually essentially, think of it as air pockets inside of there. It's done so that it has more insulative qualities. It traps your body heat and the air that produced from your body inside the fibers, which keep it warmer, but that space makes it feel or look a little spongier than worsted woolen cloth. So when you're looking at Martin Mills Cheviot wool or Cheviot range, or what's their other one? CHE and CGE are the two codes. Cairngorm. There you go. Cairngorm and Cheviot ranges. They are a little bit spongier from a tactile perception. They feel a little bit spongier or lighter than they look. So when you actually, but when you pick it up, it feels lighter, because you're just like, wow, really? This feels thicker. It looks heavier, but it feels lighter. It's because it has air inside of it a little bit as well. Whereas tartan cloth designed for kilts is worsted wool. It's harder, a little bit harder wearing, and it's generally speaking than that stuff. And it's a harder finish. It feels flatter. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Now he's specifically asking about tartan tweeds, and you were talking about tweed ranges. So I know, I have Loch Heron's Old Scotland tweed, and that does feel harder wearing and coarser.
Yes.
So I would imagine, I would consider, I haven't fully put it through its paces necessarily, but I've worn it a lot, and I feel it's holding up as well as a worsted wool, typical tartan kilt.
Yes.
But I wonder if that was on purpose, because it was designed for kilts.
Correct. Now take that one and mentally compare the Old Scotland tweed to their Patriot tweed and the other ones that are really soft.
Mm-hmm.
Those feel closer to Martin Mills, kind of, spongier-ish, for lack of it. It's not spongy like you're going to sop up water kind of thing.
And Martin Mills has that Buchanan Antique, which is also softer than that Loch Heron.
Yeah, all of Martin Mills are going to be a little bit softer. Yeah. Loch Heron uses the British wool. It's a little bit scratchier than the stuff that Martin Mills is using. So it depends. It really depends on the type of sheep and what they're sourcing for their wool. Different breeds of sheep are going to have different I'll say qualities of wool for different purposes. I mean, if you're living on the Outer Isles and the Hebrides, and you need a jacket. Obviously, tweed is, keeps the shape warm out there. It's a good hard-wearing, type of cloth, and it's great for keeping you warm. It would be too scratchy to wear against your skin. So it's not the question you asked is simple, but not easy to answer because of the breadth of types of tweed and feelings of tweed and things like that. It's not just a straight yes, no, this one's better, this one's worse type answer. There really is a full-on spectrum of what types of tweeds are good for what types of things.
Do you think it'd be fair to say, though, that if it is one of those softer, spongier ones, it might be a little bit more delicate? If you're hard wearing, if you're wearing it for a mud run, you're wearing it for things you don't typically wear kilts for, admittedly, but some people do.
Right.
It is going to not necessarily hold up as long. But if it is that harder wearing, thorn proof or something like that, that it would hold up as well, at least comparable to worsted wool.
Yes, I would say that. I would say it would probably hold a pleat worse, or not hold a pleat as good as like kilt cloth or worsted wool cloth. From an aspect of the fibers aren't as tight and aren't as, there's a little bit of air in there. So when you're trying to press it down, it's not taking the crease the same way. Mm-hmm. Same thing with the outerwear stuff. It's just a harder, it's aggressive. It doesn't want to take a crease. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It doesn't feel like it would crease as well. Therefore, you'd have to iron it more often and that kind of thing. I don't know about wearing the harder. I'll give you here's the other non-committal answer. If you made a kilt from jacket tweed, from like Isla Woolen Mill, or from like some Harris tweed or something like that, I guarantee you it would be as hard wearing, if not harder wearing, than worsted wool. Mm-hmm. It's going to be heavier. It's meant to be bulletproof. If you make it from lightweight suiting material, it's not going to be as hard wearing as kilt or as regular tartan cloth. So tartan cloth falls within the range of the other for how hard wearing I think it would be. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. All right. I hope that helps. Probably not, but I hope it does.
Yeah. You should be a politician, though. You completely evaded the question entirely.
No, politicians say, I'm going to get to your question in a second. Then they answer a different question and then never get back to the original question. That's the political answer.
Would you wear a tweed kilt? Get down in the comments. Let me know which one you want to get. And also subscribe to our channel.